to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
A Kingsport mother is still missing. Layla Santinello has been missing since June 27, 2023. Witnesses state that she ran from the AmeriCorps Hotel the day before. My friend Chronicles of Olivia and I, we have been here several times searching for Layla Santinello, which bring us to places like this abandoned golf course facility. Many places like this exist across Kingsport, Tennessee, making it very difficult to find where Layla's whereabouts could be. It's places like this that keep us concerned. Where could Layla Santinello be? Is she out there somewhere? The details Chronicles of Olivia and I have found out are highly disturbing, and I can tell you, based on the information we've heard and learned, someone knows something. Where is Layla Santinello? Will anyone come forward? Will anybody be willing to tell the truth? Will anyone stand up and help the Santinello family? After running several stories about Layla Santinello, several people came forward. One of the last places Layla was seen was in this field, coming out of the woods. We have searched everywhere. We have posted flyers all over Kingsport, Tennessee, seeking answers in the disappearance of Layla Santinello. We're asking anybody with any information to please come forward. We're doing our part to search for Layla Santinello. We need the community's help. We're asking anybody and everyone, please come forward if you have any information about Layla Santinello or the people she was with the afternoon of June 27th. We are doing our part. Are you willing to do yours?
Well, hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Crime Story. This is where all the stuff that we can't get into our first segment comes. And I gotta tell you, some of this stuff is more explosive than the cases we cover. We've got a lot going on today. We do. But first, if you guys have been having issues with X, it's just you. X doesn't like you. Just thought I'd let you know that.
Bullshit detected. Take precaution.
That is correct. It is BS. Apparently, X is having some issues going on. I don't know if they were hacked. This is the longest I've personally seen X down for. They've been down. I was able to do research this morning. I think my research wrapped up this morning around 8, maybe 9. And everything was fine. And then, of course, I was pulling my breaking news for all of you because this is the news that we don't get to talk about that happens every single day that we're here on these platforms. But we're focused on one case or another. And while yours is working, good. There's still quite a few down. I'm checking it now. Mine's still not up here in Florida. I'm not sure how many have working X. Now, if you're on your phone, it does appear that it's working. But it's not. Those are all, you have to go to your computer. So if you're on your phone, just like when I go on my phone, this is what it looks like right now on the computer. Right there. However, when I go on to my phone, I can see this. See? It looks like it's all there. It looks like it's working and everything's going on. Those are all old posts. Those are all old posts. So it does appear that on mine it's working. I'm on phone and it's current updates. All right, well, I'm not following you. Hope all is well. Well, check it, refresh it, because I'm telling you, mine's not working. It appears like it's working, but like I tried to throw a post up here for this. I mean, you can see it. I don't know if you guys can see this. Hold on, let me take my background away. Good gracious, wouldn't want. There we go. You still can't see the damn phone. There you go. See, it looks like it's working on the app, but it's not. So on your phone, you'll see it. However, like I said, on the computer, it won't even load anything. We're fortunate to have our apps. At least we can read what we missed this morning. And maybe it was because I use my phone when I'm going over to work. Mine's not working. It's telling me everything from yesterday. Exactly. Okay. All right. So mine is working on my phone. It's not working. It just has all the old stuff on it. If you try to upload a post, that's what I try to do. I try to upload a post. Actually, I tried to look for some information. I was going to try to show how somebody's being deceptive again. And what in the world did I do with my vape? All right, I just had you. Where did I put you? I will be right back. You guys are going to have to, you know what? Let me, since you guys already paid for it, let me play it. I'm going to go ahead and play Sebastian's Army song while I go look for my vape. It's very important stuff, guys. You don't want me here for an hour and a half without nicotine, okay? Just like you don't want me here an hour and a half without caffeine. There's just certain things you don't want to see Bullhorn Betty without, okay? I'm just saying. I don't make the rules. I'll be right back.
They crawl in shadows in the spiteful haze, whispering venom lost in a maze. They meddle with lives, play a twisted game, but we see the truth, call them by name. They think they own the spotlight's glare, fingers pointing as if they care, but Sebastian's army stands in the light. Through the chaos, we're ready to fight. Get out the way, your eyes won't stay. Sebastian's army clears the fray. Unstoppable force,
meant to put the fade out. I didn't mean for it to just stop, but it just stopped. So I've got all these things. So let me go back up here and let me take the background off so you can see me. Hey guys, it's nice to see you. Yes, that is an AI generated song that I typed in. You type in what you want it to be about, and it was to kind of our fight as Sebastian's army and us not allowing the hate and the misinformation deter us from our ultimate goal of finding Sebastian. We are Sebastian's army. We are Sebastian strong, and we will keep fighting. Although this live is not dedicated to Sebastian, if you'd like to catch more information on Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, we did a wonderful live this morning. There's going to be another video dropped, and probably right about the time we end this live. I've got an hour and a half to spit all of this content out to you guys because I've got ribs in the oven. Okay. And I'm sorry. I love you guys to death, but you don't know how much I'm into, how much I'm into my meat. Okay. I'm sorry. But when they say a woman is it the woman took a rib from a man? I believe it. I mean, it might be the other way around, but I don't know. At least over here in Casa Bullhorn, we're taking the ribs from the men. Okay, I'm just saying, not playing. I know. So now that we got the fun out of the way, time to gunk us up, guys. Gunk us up. There was a missing child here in the state of Florida. And we're going to be like this. It's going to be jerking around because we got all these news articles that like to just load their channels down with all these advertisements. I guess that's the only way they're going to be able to survive because everything's going digital and you got to try to recoup those subscription costs somehow, right? But this is right here in my county. I'm very disturbed by this because one of the things we like is law and order, and we think people from, certain financial classes should act with a little class. And the reason why I'm saying this is because part of our community is not is up and coming. Okay. And our northern county is this up and coming place with pricey properties. I mean, hugely pricey properties. You're not looking in North Manatee for properties under, say, 300, 400,000 and above. So you're talking about some significant dollar bills. That means people that have good jobs, good educations typically live in these areas. So you kind of expect, I mean, it's stereotypical. I'll agree with that. It is stereotypical of us, but we kind of think the higher net worth, the more integrity and class somebody has. I'm sorry, right? It's just kind of a stereotypical thing. This is a very bothersome thing here in Manatee County. We had a 54, and I still am kind of a little, I don't know if this was like a gay couple, if this was a father son. I would think they would say it. But it seems like both of these people have, cohabitated the same place, the way the story is kind of reading, because there's a 54-year-old man that's been charged with attempted murder after deputies say he nearly beat a 74-year-old man to death and forcibly it was forcing handfuls of pills down this man's throat. So after he beat him, he was still alive, and now he's trying to shove pills down the guy's throat. This is all happening in my town, by the way. Yes, they made the Bullhorn Betty channel. It's very rare that Manatee County ever makes the Bullhorn Betty channel. Why? Because we do have some crazy cases, but none that rise to the level of Bullhorn Betty crazy. This one rises to the level of Bullhorn Betty crazy. I'm not sure how comfortable I feel with that going on in my backyard. But I digress. The incident happened just 3 p.m. on Sunday at a home in Del Webb Community. Now, Del Webb Communities is a very lofty price tag. I don't know if you guys have Del Webb Communities in your community, but these are kind of upper class, upper tier homes, not like mega mansions or anything else, just upper tier homes. And they offer kind of this inclusive living. So, like, it's not. I mean, whole families live in these Del Webb communities, but they have everything you need. Say like for retirement, most of these Del Webb communities, their HOA fee covers your lawn maintenance, and like it's all inclusive. You pay your mortgage, and you pay this lofty fee to the HOA. And it's a beautiful place, a retirement's paradise, so to speak. You have like a pool and a, what do they call them? The big things that you can have parties in and stuff like that. Del Webb communities specialize in those type of retirement or retreat type houses, and they're not cheap. So this is the community they were in. As soon as I saw Del Webb, I knew that they were in a very, upper middle class area. Deputies say they were responding to and this is where it comes, domestic violence. But domestic violence doesn't necessarily mean anything, right? It just means that people that live under the same roof got in an altercation. So you can have domestic violence with roommates. You can have domestic violence with house guests. It doesn't have to be somebody that you are in a relationship with, which is causing the confusion. And of course, there is a 20-year age difference between the 74-year-old and the 54-year-old, which doesn't really mean anything this day and age. But I just find it interesting that they report it as domestic violence. So that's leading me to believe that these people live together. It wasn't somebody that broke in. So they were responding to reports of domestic violence before encountering the suspect, Robert Carter, which is the 54-year-old, covered in blood at the front door. And inside the home, deputies added that they discovered the 74-year-old man lying on the ground in a pool of blood. Carter was arrested after reportedly confessing to beating the 74-year-old man and forcing a handful of pills down his throat. The sheriff's office said the victim was taken to the local hospital. He's being treated for his injuries, including a swollen left eye. 74-year-old. I tell you what, if he was living next to me, I don't know what would have happened to that guy. I really don't, because like even my neighbor is 70 something years old, but you know what? He's a gun wielding grandpa. If he saw something like that going on, you bet your butt you probably have a bullet in you. We're from Florida. We're not from any place else. It's kind of like Tennessee, kind of like Texas. When we pull our guns here in the state of Florida, you never want to do that because nobody really pulls a gun here unless they're prepared to use it. Why do I say this? We just covered a case 2 weeks ago or a week ago about a man being hailed a hero because a woman was being stabbed on the outside of her home, and a neighbor saw it and tried to get the woman away, but the guy just kept stabbing her. So he pulls out and releases his firearm onto this suspect. He saved that woman's life. I know a lot of people have a problem with the Second Amendment. Sorry, my brain's a little sluggish this morning. The Second Amendment. But, we're not talking about, a lot of people don't realize, but criminals are going to violate our laws no matter what. Things happen in a split second. For example, that woman being stabbed. If they stepped back and waited for law enforcement to get there, that lady would have been dead. She would have been dead. And we have to understand that. We love law enforcement, but I can guarantee in those split seconds, they're not going to be there. It on average takes 7 to 8 minutes and that's in town. When you get out into the rural areas, it could take 30, 45 minutes. Do you know if you're punctured in your liver, you have about 20 minutes to live? So I just want to point out, I understand people's arguments on both sides. A lot of crazy people get a hold of firearms. But you know what? Those crazy people and criminals are going to have firearms whether we do or not. I'm sorry. We have 3D printers now. I just want to put that into perspective. We have 3D printers now. So now all the law-abiding citizens are stripped of their ability, right? I mean, if we were to, look at that avenue, we would be stripped of our ability to have weapons, while criminals, by definition, do not follow our laws. We'll be printing these things on 3D printers, and there's nothing law enforcement can do to stop them. Why? Because they can't just say it's unlawful to have a 3D printer, right? They can make it unlawful to make something like this, but how are they going to enforce it? They can't enforce it until it's brandished. By that time, it could be too late. Look at the CEO of United Healthcare, right? That was a 3D printed hand. I don't even know if it's considered a gun because it's 3D printed. It's like plastic, and it killed somebody. So we have to keep those things there. So I don't know. This is pretty scary. This happened in my own community, and it dovetails right into our next case, which is the case of I can't remember her name. We've been covering her. There it is, Miranda Corsette. Miranda Corsette. She's the young 16-year-old teen mom. This is one piece that we overlooked over the last couple days. She's a mom of an 11-month-old baby. And if you guys remember hearing the press conference, both of her parents are deceased. Her grandmother was raising her. So now, who's going to take care of her baby? The great-grandmother is now going to be responsible of taking care of this child. A great-grandmother. A whole life, a whole family, literally rocked by evil people, and we don't even really know if there truly was jewelry missing, or if that was just an excuse. Because so far, I haven't, outside of them saying there was an altercation over jewelry, we don't show any receipts that this young teen pawned the jewelry. We don't show any receipts that they even had the jewelry. And and they've had to have gone through those homes with a fine-tooth comb. So either somebody else was in their home and took the jewelry was non-existent, or one of these two drug addicts took it and blamed it on this girl that they took out for no reason. Her face is creepy. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I think she's trying to hide her 5 o'clock shadow. That blonde hair is definitely not natural. You can tell she's more olive skinned, dark haired. Her hair should probably be the color of Miranda's. I think her original color is more of that of Miranda's. But this was interesting because it said, they just said, I suffocated. Chatty murder suspects accused of, talk about some pretty graphic words that probably wouldn't be allowed on YouTube, except if it comes from a main channel like this, right? They can get away with literally murder and YouTube's okay with it. But the rest of us small peons, if we put something like that in our title, we'd be in trouble. It says a Florida couple is behind bars after allegedly luring a teenage girl they met online to their home, tortured and suffocated her to death. That is awful. They watched her kick. They watched her struggle. And they stood there. Because you can't really suffocate somebody unless you're like right there. Even a plastic bag, you got to make sure it's on there. You got to make sure it's not going to be taken off. This is, yes, demonic criminals. Exactly. And they said over a piece of missing jewelry and dismembered her before disposing of her remains in a dumpster. I don't know anybody that's going to be dismembering a person over a piece of jewelry. I'd have to say these people had to have been on a bender to think that was even remotely smart to do. I don't know when X is going to be coming back up, folks. I wish I did, but I don't. So that's really it. We're covering that case a little bit more in depth on our other channel. This one here is going to really, really disturb you. And I just lost my audio. So if I have anything that needs audio, and I think that's coming up in about 4 more clicks. This lady here, the one with the shaved head that looks like she is something out of, I don't know, what's that American X movie? She looks like she's a skinhead. Let's be honest. The lady looks like a skinhead. But she's got, we don't know her situation. Could she have cancer? Maybe. Maybe that's why she's missing her hair. Or maybe she can just be a very evil woman. I think she's just an evil skinhead. That's what I think. I think she's an evil skinhead. I don't know. All I know is that her 3-month-old child is deceased because of this disgusting rendition of a human being. 3 months old. 3 months old. And was pronounced dead. This child suffered multiple brain bleeds and a large skull fracture. The baby's cause of death to be blunt head trauma. 3 months old. Most of us are googie and gogging with our 3-month-old children and grandchildren. Definitely not slinging them across the room like rag dolls, which apparently this skinhead did. And this is going to dovetail, and I got these out of order, but this is what I was meaning dovetail when we were talking about, 2A and the manufacturing of these 3D images of firearms. And this brings me to my next article, which is of the CEO. So we haven't talked about the CEO. A lot of people were kind of giving this kid, which I call him a kid, I think he's 19 or 20 or something like that. I can't remember what his age is, but he's young. He's young. He's an adult, but he's young. And he printed this handgun off a 3D printer and then waited to see this United Healthcare CEO going in for a conference before he unalived him because he doesn't like his policies. I don't understand how people can take a life because they disagree with somebody. I don't care if it affects your life. I want to be very clear on this, whether we like it or not. Here in America, you are responsible for your own health. Okay? I'm responsible for my health. There are things, why am I freezing up? Let me take this off. There we go. There are things that, am I still freezing up? Hello? It's just not getting it. I tried to take it off so it wasn't going to be affecting. I think we're catching up now. There are things in life that we do not agree with. We don't agree with people. We don't agree with our bosses. We don't agree with our crappy pay raise. We don't agree with our crappy income. We don't agree with our taxes that we're paying. We don't agree with a lot of things. And whether we like it or not, we are not guaranteed or are forced to have insurance. An insurance company, third parties, are not required to pay for us. Okay? It is the responsibility of us to take care of ourselves. Now, that's not fair because doctors, which keep us alive, are very, very, very expensive. Most communities have kind of, a community or bell curve type of pay scale where the more you make, the more you pay. The less you make, the less you pay. So we have a lot of different medical facilities in and around the country that are sponsored by our taxes to help pay for, precautionary or preventative type of care of ourselves. But at the end of the day, it's not the insurance responsibility to keep us alive. Now, what we expect when we do or take our time to purchase, um, you know, insurance, we want our insurance to work for us. And we don't want to be denied from things that we think is covered. And apparently that's what this company was doing, or they were allowing an AI program to decide whether they deny or accept a payment, or a procedure. And this is causing a lot of grief in people. So instead of changing insurances or having a better understanding of what insurance is paying for you, this guy decides to go out and unalive somebody because of something that may or may not have happened to him or his family. Now, as you guys can imagine, that is unacceptable. You don't take a life because you don't like a policy. That is being, what do they call it? My brain's not working today. I'm going to quit acting like it does. I don't know why my brain is just kind of failing me today. But you don't take action into your own hands. You take it to court. You take them, you sue them, right? That's what you do. What you don't do is kill a CEO, because at the end of the day, you didn't stop nothing. What did they stop? All they did was make a bunch of CEOs pull their name and addresses off of maps. That's it. Did it stop the business? Did it stop them from denying procedures? No. This young kid, when all the fame and glory is gone, is still going to be stuck in jail for murder. And that's where he's going to spend the rest of his life. Do you think it's going to help his back now? This right here is just stupid to me. Absolutely, utterly stupid. And there he is. So let's read the update. Let me take me off. There's no point in me having me on. Police have described, excuse me. Police have described obtaining what a law enforcement source describes to people as a manifesto. The man accused of murdering the United States healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson. In the 3-page document, which was found on Mangione's person, he allegedly claimed to be claiming that the murder had to be done. Nothing has to be done. We do not take a life. Life supersedes any BS excuse you give yourself. In this world, in this country, we put human life above everything other than God. Mangione is now charged with murder as he's jailed in Pennsylvania, where he is following the next Since Day manhunt. I don't know if this is really an update. Yeah, well, this is from December 10th, not March 10th. So we probably already went over this. But again, this is the case that had the printed gun. Now, how are we going to stop this? This is what I'd like to ask our people out there, is with all of this new technology and the calls to unarm Americans, how are we going to do it? I don't know. I don't know. My computer is so slow right now, it's not even funny. And this is pretty interesting. We've been covering the case, of course. Don't worry, StreamYard. I know you drop my audio every chance you get. I can't stand StreamYard. It's annoying. We've been covering the Rex Heuermann case. I've never physically been out there. I've always had, we've been watching, and long before I was here on social media as a true crime content creator, one of the largest cases I heard on the news outside of like John Bonet and Susan Smith was these bodies that were on this stretch of beach in New York. Now, I'm sure at the time I kind of, didn't give it too much thought, but it was one that took our attention. So it was on the news a lot. It was breaking news. These bodies I think it was like middle of 20, like 2000, like, so it would have been like 2009, 2010 or something like that, was when all these bodies started surfacing on Gilgo Beach. And we've never heard anything about them. We didn't even really know about Peaches or Cherry, which are dismembered bodies that were scattered in and around the area on different islands or whatnot. But now they're starting to look into a little more. Now that we know who Rex Heuermann is and who he really is, let's not mistake it. Rex Heuermann is accused of being a serial killer. That means he hunted for his victims. That means not every woman he was with did he unalive, but he was with all the women he unalived. Okay? He's seems like a demonic, he has this demonic sexual desires where he likes, and I know that people are into some kinky stuff. Okay? To each your own. Okay? I'm a little prudy, but whatever. To each your own. If you guys like being, having leather whips and chains and stuff like that, to each your own. Okay, I'm not judging over here. Okay, if you can liberate your sexual being, by all means, you're an adult, go do it, right? And there are people that have this bondage and whatever it's called, DSDM or whatever. You guys know. You guys are probably laughing at me like this girl knows nothing. I'm fine. I'm fine with you laughing at me knowing nothing, okay? But people like some kinky stuff, and who are we? You don't need to unalive people to have this kinky wild thing. People will do it. People will let you take a belt and just let it go. Just let it go. But apparently this guy didn't just want that. He wanted to feel powerful. He wanted to feel like godlike. He wanted to know that he had control over who lives and who dies. I truly believe that it is a power thing with these serial killers. For whatever happened in their life, I don't feel like they thought that they were powerful enough. Now, I'm sure more, as we learn more about serial killers, I'm not sure. Not our cup of tea. Thank you, Turtle Gang. God bless you. Should I keep talking about the kinky stuff? Is that when you started passing out those dollar bills? I'm just joking. Okay, I'm just joking. It's not my cup of tea either. But we know that there's people that have these fetishes, and that's fine. I'm not knocking that. But what I'm saying is you don't need to unalive people to have that experience anymore. Okay? That's all I'm saying. You don't need to unalive people to have that experience. So why would serial killers still exist if they don't need to unalive their subject? It's because they have the power. I think it comes down to that raw power. They have the ability to take your life, or they have the ability to let you go. And you never know. But either way, former prosecutors once new probe into a mysterious 2013 suicide. This was of a New York City woman who washed ashore on Gilgo Beach. And people are wanting to know, could this be another Rex Heuermann victim? This just recently surfaced on March 8th was when I could see this. And they put the caveat, could she be number 12? There needs to be more thorough probe into the 2013 suicide of Queenswoman Natasha Jugo. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Argued one-time prosecutor Raymond Zupa, who believes she was murdered by the Long Island serial killer. Given the geographical location, well as current and historical events, I believe investigations into the matter should be reopened and competently investigated, Zupa stated in a petition filed on Wednesday in Manhattan Supreme Court that names New York PD and Commissioner Jessica Tisch as defendants. The area of occurrence is infamous. So let me show you a picture of this this woman that they have deemed, we know right there, she definitely looks, looks thinner. We know that he's had blondes in the past. Could this be something? Hey, Niner Nana, it's nice to see you. Elfig, I see you. Sonia, it's nice to see you. Ginia, nice to see you as well. Could this be a victim of his? I mean, that is his area. Bodies just don't wash up on beaches. It seems awfully funny that she washed up on where? Gilgo Beach. Let's learn a little more about her. Zupa told the Post Friday he'd like to see cops take a fresh look at the case. This is Gilgo, Zupa said, stopping just short of saying Jugo was a victim of the serial killer. I wouldn't rule it out. It makes more sense, the semi-retired prosecutor, but they don't want this to be a murder. It was ruled a suicide on May 2nd, 2023, without a body. No suicide note was found in her car. She was 31, diagnosed with schizophrenia, and was last seen leaving Bayside, Queens residence the afternoon of March 16, 2013. She had been sent to a nearby pharmacy to pick up prescription for her sickly father. The next day, the woman was walking along to Bay Beach, and Massapequa found Jugo's purse and some clothing. Interesting, clothing was ashore, and called 911. The New York City Police Department and police from Suffolk County and Nassau counties responded to the location, located Jugo's 2009 Prius parked along the shoulder of Ocean Parkway. They also said the footprint leading from her car to the surf were found at the scene. Gilgo Beach is located in Suffolk County, but not far from the county line. Her body was eventually discovered June 24, 2013, a little more than 3 miles away, washed ashore on Gilgo Beach. Zupa, who is based in Long Island, doesn't believe Jugo drove 30 minutes from her home to commit suicide by walking into the Atlantic. Instead, he thinks there's a link between her death and Human's alleged victims. Human, 61, has been charged with murder of 7 of the 11 people investigated found along Ocean Parkway near Gilgo Beach. That's a lot. That means out of all the bodies that they found along that path, almost 70 to 75% of them have been his victims. So what's the probability of the other 25% of the victims? Would those also be his? I think so. Now that I know that he has engaged in the dismemberment aspect of his crimes, which he has, the last 2 that he was charged with, or at least the last one he was charged with, was dismembered. And I had said that, usually when you're dealing with serial killers, you are dealing with an escalation of appetite. So, for example, I would expect maybe a serial killer to advance from staging to maybe more of the demonic and dismemberment type of scenario. But usually you don't see them, decrease their intensity. And so I had thrown that out there one time, and one person made sense of it for me. We have to remember Rex Heuermann was getting up in his age. He may not have had the same fight he had younger. And this is what's bothering me so much. We are looking at his crimes from the 2000 era. Okay? You're only talking about 20 years. He's 60 years old. Typically, they first start killing before the age of 30. So we have a whole decade of people that had to have lost their life around him, who are his other victims that none of us are focusing on. That's what's scary when it comes to Rex Heuermann. I'm interested in this. I'm going to keep you guys up to date. I periodically look at the cases that we've been covering, like even Michael Monkey Vaughn. I've looked at that case too. And there's no new information since the release of the video of Stacy Wandra basically stating that he watched his wife dig a hole and bury Michael Monkey Vaughn in it. That's what he told law enforcement. He was pointing out where they would have put him. Very scary stuff. And guess what? Still no arrest. Still no arrest. This has got to be heartbreaking. Michael Monkey Vaughn's mom is very, very ill. Okay? Very ill. And we want her. She has been his fighter. His mama has been his fighter. And I want to make sure she sees justice before anything happens to her. She deserves justice. Out of everything everybody on these social media platforms has put that lady through, she deserves justice. We covered a case on our channel here, and it was backed by one of the games. It was a Chiefs game. I know you guys remember it. It was all over the news. 3 guys were found dead outside of a home in freezing cold temperatures, and nobody figured out how in the world they could die of hypothermia. And then we found out that they had used substances and most likely passed out or was not aware of how cold it was and may have stayed out in the cold a lot longer than they should have. They froze to death, y'all. We kept wondering what was going on in that case. Well, come to find out, there are 2 people that are charged in their deaths. And these are the 3 chief, what were they? Chief, I don't know. They rooted for the Chiefs. Chief fans. And they were watching a Chiefs game, and nobody could understand why the door was locked and they were locked outside. Well, the guy's house that they were at said he thought they had left, even though all of their cars were still out in front of his home. It was really, really bizarre. It was just a weird statement. And then we found out that they were using H or Fent or whatever it was that they were using at that house. And now we do have some resolution. After investigation into this, I'll read some of it. Let me find out where it was. Yeah, it was police and prosecutors have announced charges against 2 men that they allege supplied the drugs to the 3 friends who died watching the Kansas City Chief NFL game last year. Platte County Prosecutor's Office, Kansas Police announced a joint statement that Jordan Willis and Ivory Carson were arrested and charged with distribution of controlled substance and 3 counts of involuntary manslaughter connected with the deaths of Clayton McGinney, David Harrington, and Ricky Johnson. Each charge carries a maximum of 10 years in prison. The night of January 1st, 2024, after a Chiefs game, McGinney's fiance became concerned after she couldn't reach him, so she checked on him at Willis's residence and found at least 1 person dead on the back patio. Kansas City Police Department officers responded to the scene and located the other victims. The temperatures in Kansas City were below freezing on January 7th. According to the statement, investigators reached Willis's residence to locate 2 bags containing white powdery substance. 1 bag tested positive for Coca-Cola and the other one for Fent. Willis' DNA was determined as a major contributor of the DNA found on the bag, while Carlson's DNA was on the Fent bag. One of the friends told police that they went to Harrington's house prior to Willis's, and while there, the friends saw a large plate of Coca-Cola, alleging supplied by Willis, that they were using. A different friend went to hang out with Willis and the 3 victims at Willis's house, where they smoked, leafy salad, drank, and used Coca-Cola. That friend left around midnight. Investigators searched Harrington's phone and found messages from the victim and 2 suspects consistent with the purchase of the Coca-Cola. So clearly, we now have a good understanding of what transpired with the Chiefs games. And I think it's going to be easier for me to play you this next video, but I'm going to bring my sound down because we lost our sound as always with StreamYard, because we just love StreamYard because it's been so stinking reliable. I'm sorry, you can't make this stuff up. I'm sorry, you just can't. You can't. This is a sad story. This is of children. Again, we're just making a roundabout of all the new cases that you guys don't get to see in the news, but you probably should be watching.
7 young children alone for a week in an apartment. Their mother was found in Illinois. That's according to Madison PD. WMTV's Tabitha Bland talked with police about what happened. And Tabitha, how are they handling this case?
Well, Mark, as of right now, police are conducting an investigation for child neglect. It all started when neighbors at the apartment called police for a wellness check.
So last Friday around noon, our team was contacted by Child Protective Services.
Stephanie Fryer with
I'm going to stop it right there. I just want to applause all PIOs. Those are public information officers. Any law enforcement agency that has public information officers, this is critical to community relations. I think any law enforcement agency that does not have a public information officer automatically gets an F from the Bullhorn Betty channel. If you need avocation for more money for your police department or your sheriff's department, I'm willing to help. I'm willing to help. I do politics. I do fundraising. I do everything you can imagine to make sure law enforcement gets the budget that they need. And I think a public information officer is very, very, very important for any. They are just as important as the law enforcement dispatchers, as the law enforcement, routes. It's very, very important.
with MPD says police were called to East Mifflin Street for a wellness check.
Some people living in that building said, hey, it seems like these kids have been left alone for a while. And they made that initial contact to CPS, who initially then called us.
According to police, they found 7 young children alone.
So the children range between 2 and 13 years old.
2 and 13 years old. And mama's in another state. You have got to be kidding me.
In concerning conditions.
In this case, there were reports of like garbage cans overflowing, like broken toilets. So feces and urine were piling up, and just like clothes strewn about.
When you think about child neglect, what you really need to think about is, are the child's needs being met?
Megan Henry works to treat and prevent child abuse.
I think this sounds like an eye-catching case, but I would say that neglect is very prevalent.
In Wisconsin, more than half.
Very prevalent. That's sad. That's a problem that our Department of Children and Family Services have got to rein in. And yes, you're correct, 7 kids. I'm going to break it down Bullhorn Betty style, and people aren't going to like what I have to say about this. They're not going to like it at all. And you know what? Come for my head. I don't care. I'm going to say it because you know what? I'm an average Joe, and I know each and every one of you are thinking it. If you are having children you cannot afford, close your damn legs or know what contraception is. It's not the responsibility of people around this country to take care of your responsibility because you're irresponsible. Period. We do not create babies to put them in filth. That is a garbage can that they were living in. A toxic garbage can. 7 children from 2 to 13 years old. And I'm saying this to every person that can't stand me, that's got a bunch of mouths running around that they cannot feed. Close your effing legs. Now, if our government spoke like that, we'd probably have less of these problems. But since they can't because of PC culture, let me go ahead and bypass it because I don't really give a crap about it. Close your damn legs, save a life, and don't look like a shitty parent. Plain and simple. It's just that easy. Now I'm done. Now I'm done. This is one that I was looking up. This is how I knew X was down. This case has been coming across, not a funny case, but this is how I knew X was down. And it's a funny story how I know X is down. So, excuse me. If my computer will quit. This is another one that has a whole bunch of videos and stuff running. When you see all this shit running on here, excuse my language, Sonia, all this stuff here and it just not stopping, this lags people's computers down. Who wants to read this crap? I mean, I know that they have to make money on advertisements because they're never going to get the subscriptions. But this is just ridiculous. Every time somebody opens an article from the New York Post, they lag their computer. And this is just not the New York Post. This is everyone. This is Law and Crime, People Magazine. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. Even I'm pro advertisement, y'all. You guys know me. I'm pro advertisement. But there's just things that just get ridiculous. Look at this stuff popping up all over the place. Okay, so this beautiful girl right here, college student, she's been missing for a significant amount of time. She went overseas. And the reason why is because I could have sworn I saw this or somebody passing around some information, and it shows that unscrupulous PI out there looking for this lady. And when I was reading it, I didn't pay attention to it, but I mean, it literally, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different articles on different searches that I did for, to come up with the breaking news for you guys. And so I pulled all 8 articles and I'm like, somebody had posted something. I think this is a new one that unscrupulous PI is doing. And he's got searches and he's out there searching. And then I find out she's not even in this country. She's in the Dominican Republic. So I'm like, maybe I must have the name wrong because I heard him that he's out there searching. And for this particular person, and when I said the Dominican Republic, is that man overseas thinking he's a PI there? Because if he's searching in California or in PA, she ain't there. Now, I could have it wrong because I'm just now getting the details. I haven't touched this case. I haven't looked at this case. The family of the missing, and I can't verify if I'm even accurate because I don't watch him on Twitter or X. But for whatever reason, I remember something being passed, and I could have sworn this was the name because it's a name that I can't pronounce. Her name is Sudis. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Sudiksha? Kanaknigi? I can't pronounce it. Am I saying it right? Am I not saying it right? Can somebody break down the pronunciation for me? It says the article of the parents fear she could have been abducted in the Dominican Republic. I know. And I'm receiving information that they believe she might have been sucked out to sea. And of course, we have a lot of law enforcement that can't explain some things, and they just decide to make their own interpretation of what they think it is because they can't explain it and they don't want it to be an open case. And I think any law enforcement department that is acting in those practices, I don't care if it's the chief of police, the sheriff, they should be fired. They should be fired and they should be held accountable. You do not lie under oath. You do not lie on affidavits, and you follow the case where it is. Like Eileen Greensburg. Okay, I'm sorry. Or Ellen Greensburg, rather. I'm sorry. People should be in jail. Our officials that messed up that case and lied under oath multiple times should be in jail. But you know what? They don't go to jail. If the American people did the same thing to law enforcement, that law enforcement and our bureaucrats and these people like in the coroner's office and stuff like that can bow or have a broken back over law enforcement coming to and saying, oh, that doesn't make sense. We need you to change it. It needs to follow what we're saying. And you change it, you should be in jail. Period. These are investigations. These are nothing to F with. These are people's lives. And we know for a fact, Ellen Greenberg was listed as suicide when they've known it was a homicide because they screwed up the case and just say, instead of saying we screwed up the case or working 10 times hard to fix their screw up, They chose to lie. And everybody in this world knew that that lady did not stab herself in the back of the flippin' head. I can't say idiots loud enough. Somebody should have been in jail over Ellen Greenberg. But moreover, this is a situation where law enforcement truly believes that she was out swimming, that there's no evidence of this abduction. And because she was seen swimming in the water with a boy, that boy has been fully interrogated and cleared. So they truly believe a wave when she was walking back could have knocked her off her balance and sucked her out to sea. That is the most updated information from law enforcement. Now, her family still says they don't believe it, right? Her family still believes that there's a possibility of foul play, even though law enforcement's saying they don't believe foul play exists. I will be honest with you, I don't trust foreign investigations. I'm sorry, I just don't. Unless it's our FBI working it, I don't trust it. I don't trust it because these places are touristy spots. The government of these countries rely on that income, and they're dirty. There's nothing holding them accountable to the American people. So I don't trust any investigation overseas, just period. They have to prove it to me, not the other way around. Nope, they never bought. So what's going on in this case? I really don't know. I know it's sad. I've got 5 or 6 articles open on her. I'm going to take a little bit of a deep dive into her. I'm not going to take I'm not doing a Sebastian Rogers or Summer Wells, but I'll definitely do like a Carly dive, you know, that lady that did the hoax. We'll sit from the sidelines and try to see what we can do. We'll be giving you guys updates on this particular case on this channel. So if you guys are just coming over to this channel, this is the Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. I know we have a lot of cases, but there's a lot of information that every single day that you guys miss because we're stuck on the the major case that's being covered or taking the news by storm on our regular channels. But I still want to bring you back to reality because there's stuff that's happening all over the country, and one of these channels and one of these stories might hit a little closer to you. Like this morning when I woke up, I never anticipated my own county, my specific county, Manatee County, making a debut on the Bullhorn Betty channel. It's very few and far between. And I've got to say this. The same district attorney or state attorney that we vote for each year is still the same Yahoo that is here. And I don't like him. I want him out of office. That's just me personally. I'd like him out of office. I'm going to see if I still have him on here. I might have taken him off because I was over it. Did I? I think I did. Dad burn it. But I was going to play you my Ed, my county attorney or prosecuting attorney, my state's attorney. I don't know what they call him, district attorney, whatever. We'll keep on this, but I have very low hopes on my state attorney doing the right thing. He always likes to pass the buck. He always likes to give the deal. And it puts a lot of people in my community at risk. And it's not my law enforcement's problem. It's my state attorney that we vote for here in the 12th district that's causing the problems because he does not want to stop the nonsense. He doesn't want to be harder. He wants to always wheel and deal so he doesn't have to go to trial. I'm sorry, but we spend a lot of money in this county and we want trials. And guess what? My StreamYard just disabled my audio again. Let me get through all these. It's jamming. It's gunking up my system. It's taking forever to get these things off here. I got to reset my computer too. Something's going on with it. So we'll go over those. I might take a little bit of a deeper dive into that. This is pretty interesting. And the reason why I'm bringing this next case up is because it kind of dovetails in with some things associated, or I could make the leap, right? I could make the leap that's associated with Sebastian Rogers case, and you'll get it when you see it. So this man decided to call into a TV station for help finding his missing wife. And now he's been charged with her murder. Isn't it awfully funny that people that reach out to mainstream media or social media could possibly be lying or trying to look like they're doing everything they can? This man looks evil in and of himself. I'm surprised he lasted this long on the streets without being arrested. What a real piece of you know what. Gloria Miller's body was recovered by investigators in a dry creek bed. A man reported his wife missing in their Dothan, Alabama home on February 24th. This is very close to Sebastian's 1-year milestone, and he has now been charged with her murder. Dothan Police Department, I could be spelling it wrong. It could be Dothan, I don't know, said in a press release that several indicators of foul play were discovered in the early stages of the investigation. This is important because this is stuff we're learning in this investigation that we were not learning in the... This thing would quit moving. Hold on, let it finish with all the damn ads. So several indicators of foul play in the early stages of this case. Why is that important? Because isn't this what we kind of heard, even though they didn't say this in the Sebastian Rogers case? Weren't there several indicators of foul play? I mean, wouldn't the Amber Alert in Sebastian's case be an indicator of foul play? How about the landfill? Those were early in this investigation. There were multiple indicators from law enforcement in the early parts of Sebastian Rogers' investigation that indicated that they believe there is a foul play component in that case. So let's keep reading about this one. So Stephen Miller, Sr., 64. I can't keep, like, it's moving all over the place. I have no control over it. Miller's whereabouts before Stephen Miller Sr., 64, even made the missing person report. So let's read that again. Dothan Police Department said in a press release that several indicators of foul play were discovered in the early stages of the investigation into Gloria Miller's whereabouts before Stephen Miller Sr., 64, even made the missing person report. Police said some of his wife's personal property was found in an area shopping center. So that's the classic dump. We saw that in the Maddie Soto case. Remember, Stefan was accused of dumping the contents of her backpack, including her computer, in a dumpster, and was caught on video camera doing that. Police believe that it was Miller himself who had put the personal items there just hours before they were found and turned into one of the local businesses, the release states. Gloria's body was later recovered by investigators in a dry creek bed beneath a bridge, the release states, and has since been sent to the Alabama Department of Forensic Science for autopsy. There's his wife. They look like, I judge people. She looks like a rough woman herself. Okay, so I would anticipate that their marriage was very tumultuous and probably a lot of domestic violence and alcohol and maybe drugs, but they look more like they're drinkers more than substance abuse issues. During the investigation, Stephen allegedly admitted that before her purported disappearance, he and Gloria, 57, had a physical altercation during which time he admitted to manually strangling her until she was lifeless. Miller also called the news. Sorry, it's bouncing all over the page. You guys are watching it bounce. Miller also called a news channel, WDHN, to report his wife missing, the outlet states, and appeared on camera discussing where his wife might be. Real stink pot, right? Sounds very, very familiar to what we're learning in the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. No, I don't need to go through that. We'll go through that another day. That's a different one. There's an ex. This is another Florida case. Well, I might as well just go over it. So there's another Florida case here in I don't know which state. Is it just in Hillsborough, Titusville, Florida? And I can't remember what county that's in. Let me see if it tells me what county it's in. Anyways, a correctional officer, here's the correctional officer right here. He's accused of he was dating a woman's this woman's niece, and she is now missing, and he's in jail. They believe he a correctional officer, somebody that wore the badge, is responsible for her death. And this is him, and he is in jail right now. Why is his photo not coming up? Nothing is working for me today, and I'm not sure why. There he is, right there. Good-looking guy, normal guy. I need you guys to pay attention. This is a murderer, y'all. Allegedly a murderer. That's pretty stinking scary. I mean, when you have your first impressions of this man, to think he's as and she was wealthy, so I have a funny feeling it had to do with money. And another bizarre case, a Georgia dentist arrested for murder. I can't remember, is this her husband or her boyfriend? Murdering of her boyfriend. This is the one of her boyfriend. James David Barron, 68. She killed him. Now, I have a funny feeling this is going to have a tinge of domestic violence. This screams, and I'm sorry, but it does. Take it for what you will. But this screams, domestic abuse all day long. And I don't know why I have this vibe from this particular case, but to me, I have a funny feeling that she's going to have a case. She's going to have her case because there is laws that are like battered wives and spouse laws. Sometimes people just have enough and they defend themselves, and sometimes that defending of oneself takes another person's life because you're in fear of your life. Now, I don't know. Oh, really? I need to stop. This is what this idiot has to say. First of all, let me get up here. We're going to make a spectacle out of you, as I always do for idiots that come on and tell me what I... Okay for you to make those comments, but it's not okay for me to? I judge everybody. That's my job. If you don't like it, shoo fly shoo. Do I look like I'm begging for clicks and views? I'm asking. And don't worry, Angel Chip Delco. You can go sit on your Delco. But bye-bye. Don't come back here. I don't like people like you. Go over to your hate channels that appreciate people abusing their children and supporting them financially for doing that. Or how about the creators that like to strangle their own kids? Maybe you should go visit them a little bit more. I judge them too because I think they're fat asses that are disgusting inside and out. And trust me, I don't say that about heavy people, just them. Have a good day, and God bless. I judge everybody. This is the Bullhorn Betty channel. You don't want to be judged? Don't come on here. You don't want to be judged? Don't break crimes. Don't break the law. Don't be put on the news. That would be my first suggestion. That would be my first suggestion. But what we don't do is we don't tell Bullhorn Betty what to do because she'll never do it. As a matter of fact, it's more likely that she would judge more often, just to piss you off. Just saying. You know why? Because I'm comfortable in my skin. I do as I damn well please. I follow the law, and guess what? I do whatever the hell I want to do. That's my only requirement in this country, is to follow the law, and I can do whatever I want to do. No judge, no jury, and no law enforcement can touch me as long as I'm following the law. I judge people. I get vibes off people. I analyze people. Why? Because I have the knowledge, the wherewithal, and the know-how. If you don't like it, nothing's making you come here and watch Bullhorn Betty. If you're sitting here watching Bullhorn Betty, it's because you want to. And I appreciate that. God bless you. Thanks for making my numbers go up on this little old tiny channel over here. Now you can just watch in silence, because we know you're going to keep on watching. We know you're going to keep on watching whether we want you here or not. Just saying. We'll let you. Do the little Donald Trump. So we know that in the Brian Kohberger case, we're kind of done. We've done a lot of heavy digging and lifting on the Brian Kohberger case, the Idaho 4 case, on the main channel. I'm not going to take it off here. We know that Ann C. Taylor is fighting like hell right now to try to extend the trial. So I haven't made arrangements yet, because I'm seeing what she's doing in the legal field, and she's really throwing a lot of stuff out there. She's in the practice of right now delay. She has a capital case, and the more time they buy, the more time that they can exclude things, the more time they have research. They can research different laws, explore different experts. So that's what she's doing. Delay. Anything to keep pushing this out, showing that they have a need, that they cannot. She's going to be filing all this stuff all the way up till trial. I guarantee it. Because what she's wanting to do is show that they need the trial delayed. Okay? Nothing is going away for them with the DNA. Nothing. And many of you guys know Gene Hackman. There's some suspicion around Gene Hackman's passing. Now, I think this is all natural, okay? His wife was 30 years younger than him. He was taken care of by his wife. When his wife passed, he had no ability to take care of himself, yet he still survived for an entire week without most likely any food or water. So she was taking care of him and her medically needy dog, which from what I hear, just came out of surgery or had some kind of procedure. So when the wife died, everybody else in that house died. Why? Because she's the one that fed and watered everyone, including Gene at 95 years old. So may they all rest in peace. I really don't believe there's foul play, but I know that they're exploring that possibility. All right, guys, I really do appreciate for you taking the time to hang out with me. But as you guys know, I got ribs. And I'm ready to take that man's rib, okay? I'm not sure if I stole the rib or if he stole it from me, but I'm ready to take it back. I'm ready to take it back, Jack. So you guys go have a great lunch, and I'll see you guys back. We're going to do a video that's going to be released in another hour on the main channel. It's not going to be a premiere or anything like that. It's just going to be some discussion topics. Please support that. Go over there and check that out. I'm going to be rolling out different videos all day long today, as well as doing lives on both of these platforms, because we're getting away from all of the true crime. There's more than just the main cases, and I understand we need to have an outlet for those. So I have decided our true crime breaking news will be on this show every single day, so you can come hang out with me for your lunch break. All right, guys, I love you. God bless, and we will see you soon. We might as well do the mullet party here. Why not? I think you guys earned it.
If you shave your cooch, but not your booty hole, is that the same as a mullet?
My tongue got her ass and left. I'm on TV. Oh, shit. First cops, now this. Oh.
to visit. You know what? She's smelling the ribs too. She came over here and she's jumping on me. She's like, Mommy, 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 Mommy. I'm a crime-fighting dog. My name's Delilah, and I love my mommy, and I want one of her ribs. She said that all right. I know she did. I heard it. Didn't you guys hear it? She said, I want mommy's ribs. I want mommy's ribs. She can take them. She can take all the ribs she wants from a man. I know. Aw, little baby. She's such a good baby. Look how big she's getting. She's still a tiny little thing. She's still a tiny little thing, but look at her. She's getting to be a big girl. She's getting to be a big girl. Say bye, Coffee Club. I love you. I love you guys. All right, guys, we're out. Catch you on the flip side. Love you so much, and God bless each and every one of you.
From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.